The story of Native Americans begins a long time ago, more than 13,000 years back, with a group we now call the Paleo Indians. These were the very first Native Americans, the first people to ever live in North America. They didn't come in ships or on roads, they walked. They crossed through Beringia, a land bridge that once connected Asia to Alaska during the Ice Age. They didn't know exactly where they were going, only that they had to keep moving to survive. These early people were incredibly tough and smart. They hunted huge animals, like mammoth and bison, using sharp stone tools like the Clovis point, which we still find buried in the ground today. These tools show us just how far and wide they traveled, from deserts in the southwest to forests in the east. But the world around them didn't stay the same. The Ice Age ended, the giant animals disappeared, and the climate warmed. And instead of being defeated by those changes, the Paleo Indians adapted. They started hunting smaller animals, gathering more plants, and learning how to live in all kinds of environments. Over time, they became the ancestors of many native cultures that would grow across the continent, each unique but all connected to those first people. So when we talk about Native American history, it doesn't start with villages or tribes. It starts with small families crossing Beringia, facing an unknown world with nothing but their skills, their courage, and each other. The Paleo Indians were the beginning of a story that's still being told today.
Native American spirituality is about living in peace with nature and respecting the land, ancestors, and all living things. It's their way of living life that values balance, harmony, and interconnectedness with the physical and spiritual world. Many Native American communities develop a deep sense of gratitude and respect. This spiritual approach encourages a connection to the earth and a sense of belonging. For many Native tribes, the Great Spirit is central to their spiritual lives. They believe this higher power is actively involved in the world, guiding and shaping the lives of humans and the natural world. It's also important to keep in mind that Native American spirituality uniquely varies greatly throughout tribes, as well as stories highlighting the importance of wisdom, serving as a reminder for our responsibility and position on earth. For example, the Ojibwe tribe have a deep respect for the Manidoog. The Manidoog are spiritual forces that give life and power, which can be practiced throughout dreams, ceremonies, and dances. Another example are the Cherokee tribe, with spiritual beliefs revolving around family ties and powerful spirits like Salu, the creator of corn, and Asgaya, a healing spirit. What we can learn from them is to admire unadorned beauty, be mindful of things present, and pay notice to the existing world around us. This emphasizes that our existence is not as separated from nature as we think, but in fact, we are connected with everything from the animals to Earth itself. And finally, a lot of traditional Native American practices are still alive and well today, but there's also a fresh take on Native American spirituality that's emerging. Some tribes have leaned into Christianity, while others have come up with new, unique blends that mix their old beliefs with more modern influences. It's amazing to see how these communities are evolving while still holding on to their roots.
With the Spanish first coming into contact with indigenous people in the Americas in the late 15th century, things were mostly fine at first. But as time went on, it became apparent that something was going terribly wrong within indigenous tribes. People were falling horribly ill and dying in massive amounts soon after European ships arrived on native land. After many years dealing with foreign illnesses, the indigenous population was devastated, with the death toll being estimated to be anywhere from 1/3 to 90% of the total indigenous population in the Americas. There were numerous reasons for the catastrophe. Firstly, Europeans brought over deadly diseases that the indigenous people had not built up immunity to. This transfer came in the form of regular contact with Europeans, as well as through rats that lived on the ships that Europeans sailed with. These rats carried dangerous diseases and flocked to indigenous villages and tribes for shelter. It has also been speculated that the main disease that killed off most of the Native Americans was leptospirosis, which is a disease that is highly resistant to dying off in water, mud, and other natural environments. As the indigenous lifestyle relied heavily on natural resources, they likely came into regular contact with infected resources. Pierre Biard, a Jesuit missionary, stated in the early 1600s, quote, "They are astonished and often complain that since the French mingle and carry on with them, they are dying fast, and the population is thinning out," end quote. The lack of effective medical treatment for the indigenous people led to hundreds of thousands of people dying off, leaving families and tribes destroyed. There were numerous other factors that led to indigenous culture being destroyed by Westerners, but the sheer volume of deaths due to disease made the indigenous population vulnerable to exploitation, and this vulnerability was taken advantage of by Europeans. Overall, this was a devastating event that took place over the course of over 100 years, and its legacy echoes in today's world, where we see indigenous lives and cultures shattered.